Come on, catch up. Alrighty, we are live from Columbus, OH. And this is the Ramsey Show, Aftershow. Welcome. I'm Coach Steve Money and Ramsey Solutions certified financial coach. Not just some. Okay, we got audio. Not just some guy telling you you're doing it wrong. No, I'm actually certified to tell you that you're doing it wrong. So let's get started. All right, you're watching this on youtube.com/coachstevemoney. And for my financial content, you just scroll one past the Oak Island playlist. You'll see the Ramsey Show After Show playlist. Today is number 532 of those. Answering Your Financial Questions playlist, there is 138 of those. So plenty of me telling people they're doing it wrong for you to enjoy. Also, there's 12 Ramsey adjacent songs in the music playlist. And the newest one, what is it? When you're on baby step 2. No spending money to seem cool. Don't. When you're on baby step 2. Shout out to Hootie, Darius Rucker and company. Market report. Down overall. But it's not as bad as it has been in recent times. You got your S&P 500 and Dow Jones positive, NASDAQ and NASDAQ just barely negative. And the Russell Small Cap Index, 0.63%. So not even a full percent negative. So that's not bad. You'll definitely take this over the, when it's down 4% like it has been. So we'll take it. See what the rest of the planet is doing, mostly up in Europe, mostly down in Asia, and that US dollar. Let's see what's going on here. Up against the euro, up against the Japanese yen, up against the British pound, love, but down to the Canadian dollar, eh? They're not sorry about that, probably. And down to the Australian dollarmite. The Australians said nar. Who do we have here? Oh, we have Microsoft and Meta reported at 4 p.m. Let's see what is up with that. Microsoft, you would think it was good. And any big company like this, it seems like this is what happens. They get a good report and it goes way up because people are buying, and then that hits somebody's automatic sell number, and then it goes way down, right? And so they lock in those gains, and then they buy it right back, or other people buy it at that low price right there. I mean, it's not as low as it was during the day today, and so maybe you do that instead, but people like to wait until it's actually at the number to do that. But if you would just not day trade like this, it'd be better off for you. Much less stressful. Let's see what the where, oh no, maybe I need to. The articles don't refresh, I guess, but the results here does, and then you see the gray is the after hours trading. Let's see. Big text moment of faith is here. Because Microsoft and who else was it? Meta. Let's see. Microsoft CEO says up to 30% of the company's code was written by AI. Alrighty then. Well, that's going to put people out of a job, isn't it? Microsoft beats quarter three estimates on top and bottom line on strong cloud earnings. I get cloud growth. Yep. All right. And what's the outlook? Earnings, revenue beat. Okay. But it doesn't say what their outlook is, and I would assume since it's up, it means it was decent outlook as well. And again, the other one, Meta, artist formerly known as Facebook, that's up as well. And so that those two together, since they had good reports, I mean, they could push the market ahead very much so. I'll take a look at that in 1 second, see what the futures are looking like for all of the indices, the indices. Oh, gotta refresh it to get the new articles that actually have the report. Razer stronger than expected revenue for the quarter. Okay. And earnings beat. And what about the outlook going forward? We don't have the outlook on either of these today in the articles. Oh, guidance beat estimates. Okay. All right. So yeah, so that's good. So no problem with that whatsoever. Again, you have the quick jump up, and you have the people locking in those gains, the day traders, and then somebody buying it right back up and making it go to the top again, making it go up here again. Fun times. And so yeah, these two alone, I mean, it could propel a really big day for the Nasdaq and the market overall today. Yeah, we got futures, it's 1.05% up for the Nasdaq, and 0.64 for the S&P. Dow 0.46, and they don't have futures for the small cap index. So don't know about that one, but that's fun. Let's see what else to. So that's good news. That's good news. Tomorrow, Eli Lilly, MicroStrategy, the Apple, and the Amazon, and so that's going to. Don't know when they are, Apple and Amazon, if they're reporting at 4 when the market closes, or midday like Eli Lilly and company here, or first thing in the morning. So it could be any time. And of course, that is, if it happens during the market day, that will of course affect it. Oh, let's see. What's the most followed single stocks on the Google? Apple up before their earnings report tomorrow. Microsoft up today before their earnings report today. But everything else down. And that explains why your NASDAQ as a whole is down, but barely down. So that's a win there. Oh, let's see. What did that say? Elon Musk claims Doge save 160 billion, and the problem with government money is it always gets revised. Oh, well, we didn't actually save that much because we had to spend it on this, that kind of thing. If nothing's that interesting, I'm just gonna skip it. So not that interesting today. Let's do some questions. Those are interesting, always. Reddit.com/r/Dave Ramsey is where we go. Every so often, also answer Facebook questions, especially when I run out, which does happen sometimes, of the Reddit questions. This run by fans, not by Ramsey Solutions. If you want a group run by Ramsey Solutions, that would be on Facebook, and it would be called the Ohio State University, the Ramsey Baby Steps Community. If it's called something other than that, it's not the one run by Ramsey Solutions. There are, I think, at least 3 or 4 other Ramsey groups. And like as of probably 3 years ago was the last time I checked on it, there were 3 Ramsey dating groups on the Facebook. And most of the people on there seem to be married. Not necessarily looking to cheat or anything like that, but just joining anyway because it's more Ramsey stuff, I guess. Talk me down from buying a car. So all this going to be justification station here. The answer is going to be to not do it on debt. Let's see what's up. Oh, and I already opened it because I planned ahead. I need a car. Have a small emergency fund of $1,000, which is exactly what you should have while you still have debt. Shouldn't have more savings than that. My car rusted out, and I was told by the mechanic that it is totaled and not worth fixing. Okay, you know what you could do? So you see, you could take it to another mechanic. If you've only gotten that one opinion by that one mechanic, maybe he's renting. Maybe he just didn't want to deal with you. Oh, and the car is not running. Well, that you probably, with the rust and that, you probably don't want to put any money to it for sure. I need a car to go to work. Nothing crazy. Maybe $10,000 car. Okay, you don't need a $10,000 car to get to work. What up, Paul? Yeah, I've been doing, this is show number 532, so I've been doing it for a hot minute. Oh, let's see, where was I? A $10,000 car. And so if people are nutty, you can get to work on a cheaper than $10,000 car. How do I do this without taking out a loan? You pay cash for it. Is Dave's advice just antiquated and out of touch with actual poor people? No. Actual poor people need to stop being dumb and doing everything with debt. I do not see a solution that gets me a car without financing. Well, then you're not looking hard enough. You're not investigating all the possibilities then. Without financing, keeping my emergency fund. If it's an emergency that you need a car, then the emergency fund is exactly what you use it for. So you would be using that $1,000. Every story I see, the person has a couple $1,000s in cash or can fix the car for a decent amount of money. Nobody talks about being actually broke in this situation. They say they're broke, but they have extra money, extra cars. Yeah. And so if you don't have any, maybe you take the bus. How about you take the bus? You probably don't want to do no Uber or anything like that because that is not going to be tenable, sustainable for the long term, probably. Probably going to cost too much money. But you try to do everything you can other than go into debt. And again, your whole premise here, you're not just saying, oh, well, I can't afford a $2,000 car. You're not saying that. You're bringing in a $10,000 car, so you're doing it wrong. You're thinking about it wrong. And so to talk you down, you don't do that. Baby step 0 is that you have decided that you're going to pay off your dumbass debt. And you're not going to take any more dumbass debt out. So you find another way to do that. But yeah, if it's not running, if it's only the rusted out, maybe you can have another mechanic look at it. But if it's not running, hard to take it to the mechanic. but I would, you didn't say why it's not running. If it's not running for something that's going to cost $10 to fix, then you would do that. So we don't have quite enough information here, but you jumping right away to a $10,000 car is dumb as crap. You're doing it wrong. Let's see. Dry computer 279. Well, you don't want to get them wet, that's for sure. Thanks for subbing, Paul. How do I balance savings versus paying off the mortgage? You don't save extra. You would not save extra other than paying out the mortgage. You don't invest extra other than the 15%. Once you pay out the mortgage, then you can invest and save whatever you want, but you only have the emergency fund as savings, and then if you have known upcoming expenses that you can't cash flow, then you might need to start a sinking fund for it, but that's for something specific. You don't do what a lot of people do, which is still have the mortgage and also have 20,000 or more in extra savings other than the emergency fund. That would be doing it incorrectly. Let's see, there's ellipsis there, which means they could not keep it to one little paragraph. So let's see, baby step 6 flare. All right, and hey, you know what, how about we do a little thing called pay off the mortgage and be done with step 6 and then be in step 7, and then you don't have to balance savings. You can save and invest whatever you want to at that point. My husband and I have been debt free for about a year now, with the exception of our mortgage. We have $20K in a high yield savings account. If that's not your emergency fund, that's a no. I, 24, have $25K in my Roth IRA. Well, you wouldn't touch that anyway. You don't do anything with that except leave it there until you retire. My husband, 26, has $15K in a Roth IRA, 15% of household income. Our mortgage is our only debt at $343,000. Our take-home income is at right at 10K a month. The debate we're having is what we should do with our excess money, somewhere between 4 to 5K monthly. That would be to the house. He would like to put about 4K into the high yield savings account. You shouldn't have the 20 there anyway. Again, unless that's the emergency fund. And I don't even recommend that for emergency fund, because I like the emergency fund to be liquid, because emergencies don't wait 1 to 3 days for you to transfer it out of that high yield savings account. Some of them, not many probably, but some of them do have debit cards or check writing access for that, and then that would be fine. But I don't personally recommend trying to make that little bit of extra interest and not having the emergency fund fully liquid. Oh, let's see. So yeah, he would like to do it wrong, and you're trying to do it wrong too to balance savings. Let's see, and whatever's left on the mortgage principal. Yeah, you don't put it on high yield savings. So that's a little thing called, I don't know if you've heard of Mr. Ramsey. You're saying you're on baby step 6. You might have heard of Mr. Ramsey. You're on the Dave Ramsey subreddit. You might have heard of him. Did you know he was the no debt guy? Probably do know that. So did you also know, as a result of being the no debt guy, he's also the no debt leverage guy? So you having this extra savings, you're debt leveraging the mortgage to have that extra savings. So that's a NAR from Mr. Ramsey on that, and from me as well. Let's see, I'd like to put the entirety of the 4 to 5K money on the mortgage principal to try to. We don't try and do things, we try to. The home paid off around the time we have kids. Yeah, that would be fabulous. And that is the advice. Now, on steps 4, 5, and 6, which you do all at the same time. So on 4, you are investing. So you got that. Again, there aren't any kids yet, so you just get to skip over 5. 5 doesn't apply to you until you actually have a child. You don't do that in advance of having children. And so you would just mostly concentrate on the mortgage. And also people with higher incomes, and so forth, and no kids, especially, and so forth. There's probably stuff in your budget that you also don't need to be spending that you should put towards the house. But definitely the extra money would go towards the mortgage and not in an extra savings account. You just have the emergency fund, and if you need a sinking fund because you can't cash flow a known upcoming expense. So that would be doing it wrong. Let's see, you don't have a plan for both have GI bills to pass down. Okay, so no need to do step 5 at all. Great. So you just pay off that freaking mortgage and then you'll be done. People like to do everything all at the same time. They like to have the, we need the cushion and stuff, or if we want to buy something. The if we want to buy something is not a thing on baby steps 1 through 6. That's not a thing. You don't have general savings just hanging out, waiting to be used to buy something. That's not how the baby steps work. Both have nice, reliable cars, so the next big life event we would need to save for is building our forever home. All right, well, that's a bunch of bullcrap too. There is not 100% guaranteed a forever home. And also, what's wrong with the one you have now? I mean, if it's only got 1 bedroom and then you plan on having, multiple kids, then maybe you might need a new house. But otherwise, you don't need to constantly upgrade house either. Let's see. To me, it makes sense to just throw the money at the mortgage, right? Since when we sell our house, all the profits will go into building our next home. Okay, if that's what you think you need to do, yes. Blah. Before, I don't know what that means. I don't know what bluff means there. I'm trying to think what that bring life under finances. I don't know what that would stand for. Let's see, 4 to 5K extra. I'm not up on all my subreddit speak. 4 to 5K extra month after bills, retirement, and fun money. Okay, and how much fun money you could do without some fun money as well. Maybe that's too much. Maybe you could cut that in half or whatever. But yeah, you should look at the budget because just because you have it doesn't mean you need to spend it. And it might be better off going to the mortgage. But on steps 4, 5, and 6, once you get there, you've earned the right to save for a vacation if you want to, even while paying off the house. But that's a different thing. That's you deciding specifically to do something with the money, and so you can set up a sinking fund to save for a vacation, for example. So yes, you can do that, but just again, having a general savings waiting to be spent, that's not a thing on the baby steps. That should be put to the mortgage. Let's see. How do we allocate the money for paying off the mortgage, saving, investing? Well, here's how it works with a married couple. You guys have to decide how to do that. And what a married couple can compromise on, it trumps the baby steps even. But according to the baby steps, you wouldn't have the extra savings. And most of your extra money would go to the house. And I would still be looking to do better than the 4 and 5K a month even. Maybe you don't need to go out to eat, 7 times in the month. Maybe you can cut it down to 5, that kind of thing. So, you don't have to. You can spend money in steps 4, 5, and 6. You just have to budget and be intentional with your spending. All right, fun times. Bottom line up front, gotcha. I should have been able to figure out bottom line, but I couldn't. Oh goodness, let's see. Paul has questions. Clarity needed on what not worth fixing means. Yeah. What if maxing out your contributions, let's say with an employer match, would result in more than 15%? That's a no. Oh, the match doesn't count. So the 15% is you putting 15% skin in the game. You put 15% of gross income. The match is just extra. Dave calls that gravy on the biscuit. Would you say contribute less than the max until mortgage is paid? Yes, you do 15%. And then you get whatever match on top of that. Would also make sense why the current home isn't the forever home. And maybe active military, living away from where. Right. And if you're active military, the advice is to not buy a house. Because you don't know that you'll be staying there long enough to make it worth it. So my brother-in-law bought 3 houses before he stopped. He was active duty military, and he bought 3 houses, and within 5 years had to sell them all. So not smart. Alrighty. Awesome. 444 401k while getting out of debt. That's a NAR, as the Australians say, mate. So you see, we have the baby steps right here. Actually, let's look at the Dave version of them. There they are, right there. Now look at that. It says save $1,000 for your start emergency fund, and for the people that have more than that, it doesn't say add more to that. For the people that say, there's a song called in my music playlist called "How to Do the Baby Steps Right," and the first verse is how's it go? I don't sing it enough. Step 1, 1K emergency fund. You don't save more to add to that sum. You don't use that to pay off debt. And don't even think about higher steps. And that's what this person is doing. Step 2 is paying off the debt, right? That's step 2. We're agreed on that. Why would you be doing step 4? That's a NAR on that. And it doesn't say that here. I should be more graceful. I should have more grace for people that just read the baby steps and don't automatically, which I would think you would do, is say, oh, it's an ordered list, so I have to do step 1 first before doing anything else, and then get that done, and then check that, and then only then move on to step 2. You're not trying, but people are dumb, man. They have different wiring in their brain than I do. Some people have looked at this list and said, "Oh, okay, I'm already investing and already paying extra on the house, but I do still have non-mortgage debt as well. So I'm on step 6." No, you're on step 2, and you shouldn't be doing investing or paying extra on the house. So that's the dealio on that. So yeah, it's step 1, 2, and 3 are done in order, one at a time. Steps 4, 5, and 6 are still in that priority order, but you do all these at the same time. So you take your debt snowball amount, which is all your extra money, at the end of the month, and you put it to your smallest debt. And then once you're done with baby step 2, you take all of that snowball amount, all your extra money at the end of the month, and you put that towards your full emergency fund. All right? And then you're using all your extra money during the month. You're using that once you get to step 4, you're doing 15% of gross income into retirement. And then if kids are involved and you do decide to help them, some people don't want to. Some people want to build character and have the children take care of it themselves. And so that's up. My name is Paul, and it's between y'all. But if you're doing that, you would address kid college. It doesn't have to be that much if they are toddlers, because you got plenty of time. And the idea would be, hopefully, if you only put a little bit at a time in step 5 for kid college, then you can have the house paid off before they would even go to college, and then you have more extra money to help. You can help cash flow it at that time. So yeah, it's 4, 5, and 6 in that priority order as far as all the extra money per month goes. And again, in steps 4, 5, and 6, you can go on vacations. You can buy expensive, dumb stuff. You just have to put it in the budget and be intentional about it. Not have a $20,000 extra savings account for you to just as a slush fund for when you want to dumbly spend money without thinking about it. Let's see. Where are we at? Oh yeah, okay, right. I reduced my 401k to minimum needed to get the company match still. Yeah, that's a no. You cut it out completely. You forego the match so that you can get out of debt faster. That is more important. Should I stop 401k altogether? Yes, that is the Ramsey advice, to pay off debt. Yes. I hate to lose the free money. Well, you shouldn't have gotten into debt then. You lost a lot of money going into debt. You didn't have a problem doing that, did you? But need to pay off debt and build an emergency fund too. Thanks. Yeah, and that's how you get the debt paid off and the emergency fund built as quickly as possible, because you don't need retirement money right now. You don't need that. You do need to get out of debt and have the full emergency fund right now. Right now, right now, right now. Let's see. Flamingo Rodeo. All right. My spouse has $60,000 plus debt on a business credit card. That's dumb as crap. And if it's his business, then he's signing for it. That's no different than personal debt. People like to pretend it is. It's not. There's nothing else there, so all the question is right here. My spouse has a single member LLC. Yeah, so that's all personal debt, babe. 60K plus balance. Can we call the bank and make a payment plan and cancel the account? You can't cancel it until you pay it off. You can close the card to new charges, though. You can ask them to do that. Does interest still accrue? Of course it does. It's a bank. It's a credit card company. And you know what? They don't offer the service of a credit card to help you out. That's not what they're there for. They're there to make money. So yes, interest does still accrue. Should I sell off my stock portfolio I've held for a decade plus now to pay it off in full? If it's single stocks, you should sell those anyway. But if it's in a retirement account, you would not cash out. You would just sell the single stocks and buy mutual funds instead for more diversification. And of course, for retirement, Dave recommends managed mutual funds because manual can beat the index. Yes, talking to you lazy people that just do the index. And especially people that just do the S&P 500 index, because the NASDAQ has kicked S&P 500's butt 17 out of the last 20 years. So you're leaving money on the table by only doing S&P 500 index fund for one thing, and also you're leaving money on the table by doing index at all when you can have managed mutual funds that beat the indexes like all of mine do. They are out there, I assure you. I didn't know anything about this stuff, but all of it's on the internet. You can teach yourself. You just have to not be lazy and just do the index. I'll just do S&P. I'll just do VIIV. People love to say their brokerage branded index fund. Let's see. So it would depend on whether you use it to pay off the debt. If it's just in a brokerage account, you would just liquidate it. If it's in a retirement account, no. The time you touch that, time you pull that out is when you are in retirement. Not till then. So, is declaring bankruptcy an option? You're not bankrupt. You're not bankrupt. They would make you sell that anyway. Sell the stocks anyway, especially if they're not in a retirement account. I don't know if an actual retire, it's like the 401k. a Roth IRA. I don't know what the laws are on that, but I'm pretty sure if it's just a regular brokerage account, not a retirement account, that they do make you liquidate your assets in order to get to pay off all your debt as much as you can, and then after that you can still declare bankruptcy if you need to. But people love to jump to bankruptcy for small amounts of money. Not saying 60,000 is small, but depending on how much you make as well. Like if you make $100,000 a year, 60K isn't that bad. You can probably pay it off in 3 years. What long-term impacts would that have? Well, we don't give a crap about credit score, so that doesn't matter. The only thing you need a credit score for in the United States is if you want to borrow more money. So that's a no, and you don't need to declare bankruptcy. You just need to pay it off. And yeah, you would liquidate anything, cars, if you have an extra car, something like that. If you have a new car that's worth a lot of money, you can sell it and get a beater instead. And then you'll have more money to pay that dumb ass debt off that you should not have ever taken out in the first place. You don't build business on debt. That's a no. That's a normal person thing to do. And guess what? We don't do things a normal way in the Ramsey verse. Ramsey world, I guess. Ramsey verse, Ramsey world. Which one do I like better? I'll get back to you on that. Concentrate 3? Is that concentrate. Roman numeral 3, I think. 1116. How can we retire early? By not spending money on anything else and getting to step 7 and paying off the house and investing a lot of money. Let's see. It's okay. It's not me and my husband. It's my husband and I. Hashtag 3rd grade. Let's learn English, everybody. Are 35 and 37. Make $200K a year. Right? You just need to be smart with it. Have about $1.06 million in net worth. Already have $529 for the kids. Invest 15% of our month income each month in 401k and Roth. Should we open up a brokerage account? For what? Oh, okay. I see. Because you maxed out. Yeah, if you have the house paid off. It says have the house paid off. So if you're in step 7, yeah, you can do that and invest more. Absolutely. You can invest as much as you want once you are in step 7. When you're in step 7, you can do whatever you want except go into a lower baby step. Unless it's baby step 3B again. If you need to save extra money to put that with your equity of your current house, you can build your forever home like the other question was. So that's how you do that. You don't get a mortgage every single time you want to upgrade a house. I don't think there's going to be more to that. Yeah, a little bit. Paid off house, $550K in retirement accounts. Okay, so that $550K is going to generate $55,000 a year. What are your expenses right now? Making $200, I bet they're more than, well, maybe not if you don't have a mortgage payment. So it just depends what your expenses are. So that's what that'll generate right now. Average. Let's see, no debt. Great. That's what it would have to be for you to be investing at all. And your emergency savings done. Yeah. So I think that's everything. We just want to retire early. Yep. I don't want to work corporate all my life. Update, we will continue to work, just want a more relaxed non-corporate job. All right. Update on this, 8406 expenses per month includes savings, budget for trips, food, extracurricular for the kids, fun money, everything. Yeah, okay. And so I would look at that and see the problem is with people is they don't only want to retire early, they also want to do all this dumbass crap too. You need to limit the trips. The more you limit the trips, the more you limit the extra savings, which you can do in baby step 7, knock yourself out, but you can do that. But the more you do that, instead of invest it, that's going to take longer before you can, before you have enough expenses. Let's see, that's 8406 times 10, what's that? 80, that's 84,000. So probably for 10 months, so probably like 100,000. So guess what? You need $1 million in retirement to generate that 100,000 a year. Excuse me. So, you know, but I mean, by the time you retire, the kids may be grown by then, and so you may not be paying for them anymore. So your expenses might change then. But if you're to base it on right now, whether you could retire right now, no, because the 550K is only going to generate 55K average per year. And so that's not going to cut it when you need almost twice as much as that. So yeah, you need $1 million in the market, in retirement savings, to be able to handle this level of expenses. So I would look for maybe cutting out some of these expenses and not do the extracurricular, not do the travel baseball, especially if that's more for you than for the kid. If the kid enjoys it less than you enjoy it for the kid, maybe the kid doesn't need to do that, because travel sports are very expensive. 142,000 is a take-home pay, 30K towards the IRA and 401K. Yeah, you can max out both of those. Did it say they're maxing? 15%. So they're not max. They might not be maxing it. So yeah, you can max it if you want. But guess what? You probably got to do in that case. You got to cut out some of this crap. Maybe you don't go on as many trips. So it's up to you. A lot of times, unless you make a ton of money, a lot of times you can't just say, oh, I want to retire early. Oh, but these are all my expenses that I'm going to do. And those are, I can't cut those. Because it's for the babies. It's for the kids. Don't be dumb. You can't do everything all at one time. You are limited by the amount of your income. And that's where you need to embrace reality on that. What up, Aslan? The best way to retire early is to reduce the amount of money you spend each year. That much is certain. Aslan knows what's up. Then you need less in retirement, and you save more while you're working. Right. So if you're, as I was saying, you can retire right this second if you your expenses were only 55,000. I mean, that's cutting it really close. So you might still want to put some more in there, but otherwise, I mean, how much of the expenses can you cut out? And again, people don't think like that, though. I mean, they're on baby step 7. I mean, they've done it all correctly, and they're fairly young, but they're still not thinking logically about money. They're still spending too much stuff. And you're actually not, because in step 7, you can budget for all this dumb crap that equals 8406 per month. That's fine. But then you can't come back to me after that and say, oh, but also we want to retire very early. So you need to just not be stupid. And I get it. You say you just want to retire from whatever the corporate job. You want to get out of the corporate rat race and you'll still work. Great. I mean, that'll only help. That will only help. And then you can continue to invest tax advantagedly. So yeah, but see, generally, and this is why most people won't do the Ramsey advice, because it requires you operating on a level of saying no to some things. So, because you are limited to your income, and 200K a year is a lot of income, but apparently that's not cutting it. So yeah, and you can invest however much extra you want. But you can invest it if you're spending it on trips and food. Why does food have to be this whole other thing? How many times are you eating out a month? Maybe you cut that down in half, the number of times you're eating out, and you put that in extra retirement savings. So it's up to you how early you can retire. Like Aslan said, reduce expenses, and then you can do it earlier, and it'll be easier to do. What up, Aslan? How's life and stuff? How's the livestock? Forsaken Ground 2994. Just can't bring myself to pay down 3% mortgage loans. I think I did that one. Sometimes they change spots there, and it got locked. So people, probably saying you're dumb if you pay down the 3% mortgage and not put the rest in a high yield savings account and make that 1 or 2% extra. You're dumb if you do that. And other people responding, you're dumb if you don't follow the Ramsey no risk plan. And so that's when they would probably lock the thread. So you're doing it wrong if you don't pay off the mortgage and you invest extra other than the 15%. That's called debt leverage. And as I explained before, if you're on the Dave Ramsey subreddit, you almost certainly know darn well that Dave is the no debt guy and he is the no debt leverage guy. And what you're doing to have that, to make that extra 2%, you're debt leveraging your mortgage. And so that's a nar. That's a no for Mr. Ramsey, dog. Left Foundation 6846. Where to start? Well, step one. Let's see. Maybe it's something specific. Let's see. Hi guys. Just heard of the baby step millionaire method. Okay. Where should I start? Step one. Step zero, actually. Bunch of things in step zero. Today I let people know, the ones that didn't anyway, that know already, that part of baby step zero is getting insurances in place. A young man let insurance lapse. Let's see. Where should I start? I have no debt besides my house, but can't afford to put 15% in retirement while still paying my mortgage. Okay, well, that means you either not make enough money or you bought too much house. So you know how you fix that? You make more money, or you can move down in house. You can sell that house and buy a cheaper one. Let's see, it's a bit tight right now. Here's some info. Take home $7,500, mortgage $3,800. Yeah, so that's dumb as crap. That's 50%. And you know how much it should be? 25%. So you have a double the amount of house, or at least depending on how much the down payment is. That's how you fix it. Larger down payment fixes the stuff when you live in a high cost of living area but don't make high cost of living money. It's called waiting and saving more down payment, and then you get the mortgage down so that it will take the payment down so that it is 25% of your take-home pay instead of freaking 50 now. So where to start with the baby steps is, and a lot of people don't think about this either. They just want to start and do steps and get through the steps that way and make their life better that way. But what you really need to do is undo the dumb crap you did, and in this case was you bought too much house by half. So this would be a sell the house. And yeah, after daycare and everyday expenses, yeah, so with daycare, if there's a spouse, the lower earning spouse, it might not make sense for them to go to work if all their money is, most of their money that they make is going to the daycare. Then it might be better for them to stay home and they are the daycare during the day, and then they can work opposite shifts. They can do part-time work, and that would be still the same amount of money probably. Let's see, everyday expenses. not left with much more. Yeah, you live in a high cost of living area and you don't make high cost of living money, or you don't and you just found the most expensive house there. And that was a mistake. I did buy my home with 30% down, but live in a high cost of living. Yeah, state, hey, guess what? Move. You don't get a pass on that. So did do that. And if you got a 30-year mortgage, it's even worse. Because if you put that on a 15, that's going to be way more than 50% of your take-home pay. So you're doing it wrong. You did it wrong, and how you fix it is you sell that house and you move down in house to a cheaper one. And I don't care that you don't like it. You don't get a pass on math. The way to make this sustainable is you make enough money, you make more money, considerably more money, or you move down in house. You bought too much house, and then also that makes me think, well, what else? What else? And like you said, putting 15, I can't afford to put 15% to retirement. You know why? Because you're paying too much on your mortgage. You bought too much house. You're doing it wrong. Asins as well, 50%. Yep, because the house payment should be $1,900. Sell the house and get a cheaper one. Aslan knows what's up. How did Dave get out of debt? Reddit poster 05. He declared bankruptcy. Yes, he did. And then later he did pay off everything that he owed. Let's see, did he borrow money from anybody? No, that's how he got into debt. You don't get out of debt by borrowing money. That's not how that works. That just puts you in more debt. He said he went back in the real estate. Okay. But I don't know how you can do that if you don't have cash to begin with. He was probably just at least for a while, he was probably just selling houses, not that he owned personally. So yeah, he probably had to sell all that. And actually, he fought to pay it off for 3 years. I think said 3 or 4 or something like that. And I think he paid off something like 90% of it. And it was just the last 10% they wouldn't work with him, and they threatened to take assets from him. And so that's when he declared bankruptcy. So yeah, so the real estate that he did after that, he probably just sold houses, other people's, not his own. Not doing flips like he was doing by debt leveraging. And so if you wonder why he's anti-debt leverage, that would be why. And then guess what? Because he did it and he said, hey, you guys shouldn't do that. I did it and it sucked. Now you don't have to do it and try. But people insist on doing it though, for some reason. Because people are always like, oh, that won't be me. I won't go into bankruptcy. I won't have too much debt. I'll be fine. I'll make money. Most businesses fail. And that's why you don't build it on debt. It's sad enough if you lose your own money that you have cash with a business failing, but it's even worse if you have debt for the business. Let's see. Recording grand, 9027. Need advice. Car accident settlement, approximately $40,000 to $45,000 coming. Pay off debt, save, or invest in career. The advice for any extra money that comes in, and so it's not just for this particular person's situation. It's not based on the amount that's coming in either. Whenever you have any extra money, no matter where it comes from, you apply it to whatever baby step you're on. And so if you're on baby step 2, you would use it to do that, to pay that off. And then you would save up your full emergency fund, and then after that you can save up to invest in your career. You don't blow all that, just like I was saying before. Most businesses fail. You do not put all $40,000 to $45,000 into some dumbass business idea that you think is going to work, and it may, but it also most likely will not, according to the odds, according to the statistics. And so you would not do that. You would do something smart with it by pay off debt. You apply any extra money, even when you get big amounts here, you apply it to whatever baby step you're on, and hopefully it can take you through a few baby steps. Like, for example, maybe they don't have that much debt. Maybe it can finish paying off the debt and be the full emergency fund as well. Let's see. Hey, everyone. Hi, guys. I could really use some advice. I was recently in a car accident. Not my fault. And I'm finalizing my personal injury claim. After attorney fees and medical costs, it looks like I'll net somewhere around $45,000. Here's my financial situation: $8,000 in old student loans. If those are in collections, you settle those. You let those sit and try to settle those later after you're done with all your current debt. 11,600 remaining on a car loan. Maybe you would sell the car and get a beater, or you can just pay it off. $3,000 care credit balance, high interest. Yep. No other major debt. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be major. It doesn't say, oh, pay off only your major debts. Dumb. So dumb to think about it like that. I've got maybe $1,000 in checking savings right now. You should have that in your emergency fund, but in checking, you wouldn't have extra savings other than the $1,000. And in checking, you do need to have enough in there to get you to the next paycheck. But we don't run a slush fund in our checking account. My credit score, we don't give a crap about the credit score. So we don't care if it's decent, but it could definitely be better. We don't care because you only need that if you're going to take out debt, and you're not going to take out debt if you're going to follow Mr. Ramsey's advice. I could use the money to wipe out all my debt, be completely debt-free, and finally breathe. But here's some dumbass stuff that I'm thinking about doing. Let's see what that is. Boom. I can also put some of it into a high yield savings account for an emergency fund. No. Did you happen to see the baby step 1? Does it say have more than $1,000 as your starter emergency fund while you still have debt? It does not say that. You just have $1,000. I don't care that you're getting $40,000 to $45,000 at one time. That does not change the advice. You put all of that to wipe out the debt, to get rid of the debt. That's more important. That's why that is step 2 and the full emergency fund is step 3. You're doing it wrong. Thinking about it wrong. Quit thinking dumbly. Or I could use a big chunk of it to start flight school. Becoming a commercial pilot has been a dream of mine. That's a no too. You get your financial house in order, and then you can do career dreams after that. Full flight school will eventually cost 70 to 90K, so it still need loans or additional funding. Okay, so I don't know if you're not familiar with Mr. Ramsey, he's the no debt guy. So there's no loans for that. You would be saving it, or you would be doing whatever you want to do, which is what most people do because they don't want to sacrifice and they don't want to wait, and so they just want to run back to debt all the time. So, I mean, if you're going to just take out more debt, why pay off this? Why were you even thinking about paying it off? Illogical, Captain. Dumb as crap. Let's see. I'm torn between playing it safe and clearing my financial life. See, that's the right thing to do. You know darn well it's the right thing to do. Stop being stupid. Versus using this to finally bet on myself. Justification station here. That's some dumb stuff there. Finally bet on myself and switch careers. if you were in my shoes, what would you do? Well, it's not just the any guy financial page. It's the Dave Ramsey subreddit. So you should expect to hear the Ramsey advice here. And you know what? If you really want to do dumb crap, you don't have to ask anybody. You don't have to type it on Reddit. You don't have to figure out, oh, well, who's a financial guy I can run the dumb crap I want to do by, but they don't agree with me, so I'll still ask anyway. I'll still compare it to that, even though I know they don't agree with me. I know Dave doesn't like debt, but should never be a thing. You just do what you want to do, or you follow Dave's advice. How about that? Thanks in advance for any of that. I'm open to any tough love, too. Great. That's what I've been given. And, of course, Mr. Ramsey says, it's not tough love, it's love. And I'm telling you, you're a dumbass. So quit being a dumbass. And I am fully qualified to call out dumbassery because I've done my fair share of it. Absolutely. So that's why I can recognize it. So they can do step 2 and 3 with the money, right, and start putting 15% of their income 401k with that 45,000. After that, live within your means, right, and then you would save up to do that flight school as well. No freaking debt. Alrighty. So let's see. So for tomorrow, we have how much should I spend on a car? As little as possible. Not brands and beat. Yeah, it depends on what baby step you're on, etc., etc. We'll get in that tomorrow. How to stop 401k payment without losing the match. It's not a payment. I mean, they deduct it from your check. Do you call that a payment? I don't call that a payment. Feels like a cheat code. Okay, well, I'm excited now. I have to look at that. I'll still talk about this tomorrow, though. So let's just say it looks like a cheat code, so you can still get the match and stop paying on it. This is going to be some dumb crap, I'm sure. The others may be able to use. I'm on baby step 2, 58k family loan and 45k for. Okay, so I got a great idea. Oh, you said you're gonna stop it. Okay, great. And then enemy stayed up at night, struggling to discontinue my 401k contributions with about $750 match every month. If I put in $1,000, I dug into my retirement plan document and figured out that my plan enables after-tax contributions. Okay. And if you're doing that, you would prioritize, well, if you're getting match, you would do up to the match if you were not on baby step 2. Depends on, yeah, you're on baby step 2, so there's no investing at all. It's very easy. After tax contributions are eligible for match, right? I can withdraw after tax contributions for any reason at any point with no penalty. They probably have figured that out for you. Okay, so yeah, there's probably thing where it has to be in there a certain time. So I don't think that's going to work. You take care as well, Aslan. Thank you so much for dropping by. Open invitation to co-host at any time, Aslan. I think you would be a good co-host. That would be fun. Should at least do it once. And that way I don't have to work as much. That's fun. So yeah, but I think on that, I don't think you can put it in and get the match and then take it out very quickly. There's got to be something about that. There's 126 comments. I'll just Google it and then we'll both know. I'll report back tomorrow. Alrighty, I'll leave that open so I can remember to do that. We'll see if I do remember to do that. You're watching this on youtube.com/coachstevemoney. And I am a Ramsey Solutions certified financial coach. And if you've got money problems, or you just want to make sure you're on the right track, or you just want me to tell you you're doing it wrong, You can schedule a free financial coaching consultation with me at calendly.com/coachstevemoney. Link is in the description, also in the ticker below. You can email me about coaching questions, anything financial, anything on my YouTube channel. coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Donations can go to paypal.me/coachstevemoney. Alternatively, the CashApp at $coachstevemoney. Alternatively, again, that same email address is where you would send a Walmart gift card to. coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Upcoming streams, this stream, the Ramsey show, maybe a video game one coming up here sometime soon. Upcoming streams, the Ramsey show, Aftershow. That's Monday through Friday at 5:27 p.m. Eastern Time, right after the Ramsey show is done on YouTube for the day, and then that's when I start my stream on the YouTube. Alrighty, thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment. Thank you so much if you have done those things already. Much appreciated. And as always, make smart financial decisions every day.